Good morning. In 10th class biology today we have to study coordination in plants. Coordination in plants is related with the movement which usually take place in the plant. Anybody can ask to you that plants move, plant can change their place or not. Can plant change their places? Then they will ask, then if plant cannot change the places, then what do you know about the movement which will take place in the plant body? We have to discuss here, there are two types of movement take place in the plant body. One which is called growth dependent movement, and one which is called growth independent movement. Another term which has been used for growth dependent movement, that is tropic movement, and another term which is used for the growth independent movement, that is nastic movement. So growth dependent movement means those type of movements which happens in the plant body due to the growth, due to the cell division, cell enlargement, cell differentiation, etc. And growth independent movement in which there is not growth taking place in the plant body. Only due to some physical processes, some change in the part of the body take place. That's why we say that is growth independent movement or nastic movement. There is a plant, we know that is known as touch-me-not plant, that belongs from the mimosa family, and its other name is chui moi. It has been seen that when we will study the term growth independent movement or nastic movement, we will tackle an example of the chui moi or touch me not plant. In this plant we will see that when we are taking the stick and fingertips and we are indicating or touching the surface of leaves of the chui moi plant, sudden response from the plant side, we can see that there is the shrinkage in the leaves. There is the shrinkage in the leaves. Why these leaves are shrinking? Then after the observation or analysis, we will be reaching here at a particular answer that this is the stimulus stick or the fingertips, and this is touching or disturbing the leaf surface. We know that inside the leaf, the liquidous material is found, the cytoplasmic fluid is found in the intercellular spaces, in the cytoplasmic form, and after getting the stimulus from the stick or the fingertips, this liquidous material diffuse from the other parts, from the leaf area to the adjacent vascular bundles, and this results in the shrinking of the leaves. After the removal of the fingertips or the stick, that leaf again regain their shape due to the again diffusion back of all the liquidous material which have earlier happened to the adjacent vascular bundle and the other tissues. Next, we have to study that is known as tropic movement, and this tropic movement is directly related with those type of movements which happens in the plant's body due to the cell division, due to the cell differentiation and cell enlargement. And this tropic movement, you can define it, those types of movements which takes place in the plant body due to the cell division or growth and development, that is known as tropic movement. Tropic movement is directional movement, whereas nastic movement is non-directional movement. In nastic movement or in the chui moi, we have not seen that movement of the plant and the shrinkage of the leaves in a particular direction. But in the tropic movement, we have to know that this is a directional movement which takes place in the particular direction and towards the stimulus or away from the stimulus. There are two aspects of the tropic movement. One, in one side, if the plant's body development or growth is taking place towards the direction of a stimulus, that is known as positive tropic movement. and if that movement is happening away from the direction of a stimulus, that is known as negative tropic movement. We can see the first example we have to discuss here, that is the phototropic movement. In the phototropic movement, in the NCERT book, one figure has been shown to you, that is figure 7.6 in page number 121. It has been shown that a plant has been kept just very near to the window in the flask having the water, and the plant is growing. We are observing here that the apical part of the plant have the bending, and the canopy of the plant has bent towards the window side to gain the sunlight. In this way, that canopy development and the growth of the apical part of the plant is taking place towards the sunlight to gain the optimum amount of the sunlight for the photosynthetic process. Such type of movement in which the growth of the part of the plant is taking place towards the sunlight, towards the photo, that is known as phototropic movement. And this phototropic movement can be seen in the different plants, in the different parts of the plants, in the different plants too, in which the plant body and the stems will have always the tendency to grow towards the sunlight. And this can be seen in the case of sunflower too. When the sun rises in the east, then we can see the flower's mouth and the flower direction towards the east. In the noontime and at the time of sunset, this flower heads towards the west. Means there is the movement in the direction of the flower, and that is showing this is the phototropic movement in which the part of the plant is always developing towards the stimulus. Second thing we can know here, that is the geotropic movement. Geotropic movement in which we can see that we are planting a plant and we are looking at the canopy of the plant which is growing to the sky, towards the apical area, and the root growth is taking place towards the gravity. The such type of growth which is taking place towards the stimulus, that is the gravity in this case, that is called positive growth. And such type of movement which is happening due to the growth and cell division in the part of the plant, and that is stimulated by the gravity of the earth, that is called geotropic movement. And that root which is growing towards the gravity, that is showing positive geotropism. And the apex of the plant which is growing away from the gravity is showing negative geotropism. Third is, we can see that is the hydrotropism. If the part of the plant, if any plant has been cultivated in the particular agricultural field, or for example in any horticultural field, and the source of the water is kept just close to that, we can observe that the root grows towards the source of water. Root grows towards the source of water, it's showing that the growth of root is taking place towards the stimulus. The growth of root is taking place towards the water. Such type of movement which is happening due to the cell division and development towards the stimulus, that is the water, it is known as hydrotropism. Next is thigmotropism. In thigmotropism, we will be observing the creepers and the climbers, or the cucumber plant, watermelon plant, pumpkin plant, gourd plant, other plants. In our surrounding, we can see the gourd plant having the very coiled structure at the apex of the stem, that is called tendril. And we used to stand a bamboo towards near the gourd plant so that the gourd plant can get the support, and with the help of the tendril it can climb the plant and it can grow on the support to reach towards the spacious area and to gain the sunlight. We have to know that at that moment the tendril will be encircling the bamboo, and after the encircling the bamboo, it will be pulling its lower part towards the upper canopy of the support. The such type of movement in which the part of the plant is growing towards the stimulus, towards the support for the further growth of the plant body, that is known as thigmotropism. And last one today we have to study, that is the cametropism. In the cametropism, we will be studying, that is the growth of the pollen tube on the surface of a stigma. We have to know that some certain chemical substances which are secreted in the ovary and on the surface of a stigma. And we know that in the garden, that is the China rose plant, and the different pollen grains of the China rose and the marigolds are floating in the atmosphere. And there is the simultaneous falling and settling of all these pollen grains on the China rose stigma. Then the chemical similarity, we can see the compatibility of the chemicals on the surface of a stigma and of its own type of pollen grain will be allowed to match, and then only the germination of pollen grain will happen through the stigma towards the style and the ovary. This pollen tube will be attracted towards the ovary or the ovule because of some chemical substances, and these chemical substances are highly specific, which will be allowing the pull and the growth of the pollen tubes towards the ovule so that the fertilization can be performed. So such type of movement which is happening due to the growth in the size and the length of the pollen tube towards the stimulus, that is the chemical compound in the secreted in the ovary and the female reproductive part of the flower, is known as cametropism. Thank you.